What's up guys, and welcome to my first voiceover video on this channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about a very special game and how it holds up to modern gaming standards. Hope you enjoy. As suggested by the title, the game we're going to be talking about today is none other than Walking Dead, Season 1 to be specific. Now this game is very special to me as I've just played it for my first time, which is strange considering the game has been out for a whole decade, so you'd think I would have played it by now. In fact, this game is so old it was first released on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It was released 2 years after the Walking Dead TV series began. On its release, the game scored a 9.3 on IGN. It would also become a very popular playthrough game, as many YouTubers would do their own playthrough for it. Now let me talk about the game's graphics and how it holds up to modern gaming standards. The game is presented with a cartoonish style as it looks like a page from a comic book, which makes sense since it is actually based on one. The game also allows you to select between normal graphics and black graphics. Normal graphics being balanced colors and black graphics emphasizing dark shades on objects and characters. I have to say that the graphics still look good to this day, even in Season 1. This game has aged like fine wine, trust me. I think that the graphical style is very well chosen and complements the atmosphere. I recommend you play on a decent system to get this game to look good, but it is pretty forgiving to most systems since it is a 10-year-old game. Even subtitles are interesting in this game as each character has their own color which fits their personality. For example, Larry is a very stressful and angry character, so his subtitles are red. Whereas Carly is a more peaceful character and a girl, so hers is magenta colored. I think that this adds a lot more immersion into the game and allows you to get a head start at knowing a new character. But enough on the graphics and let's start talking about the actual gameplay of the Walking Dead game. This game follows a point and click style gameplay with free roam around certain areas. The camera is fixed at most areas of the game with a third person view. You have to point at a person or an object and choose how you interact with them. Choice is something that comes at the foundation of this game. One of the main selling points is being able to tailor the story to your gameplay style, meaning that the game is meant for everyone and not a specific player base. You choose your character's actions which directly impacts the outcome of a situation. You have the power on who you kill and spare and in what manner you interact with others. You could make the main protagonist Lee an absolute scumbag or an angel, it's your choice. In later seasons, pressing the spacebar pauses the whole game, even in the middle of a cutscene. However, in the first season, you need to pull up the settings menu to pause it. This game includes the iconic "They will remember this" message on the top of your screen, which affects a character's attitudes towards you. In action and dialogue, you usually get given 3 options which don't have a time limit unless it's a live or die situation where you have to make an important choice. This makes making the choice a lot more intense as you want to do the right thing. You can pick up various items from traversing back and forth during a scene to help you, but the game doesn't make them too obvious so the player has to figure out what's next. You can generally free roam around most scenes and choose what to do next, but the game is quite linear in the order of which you do things. Some options impact who will carry on to the next episode and some things will happen no matter what. This makes the game almost weirdly similar to real life. This is as sometimes you get given important choices, but there are some things that you cannot control no matter what. All in all, gameplay is well made with some smaller bugs like freezing cutscenes, but what comes next is what the Walking Dead game is best at. And that is its story. The Walking Dead presents one of the greatest stories that I've ever experienced, all included in a point and click game from 2012. Down to the dialogue, characters and the setting, The Walking Dead presents an intense, realistic story with its characters being well made and memorable. Season 1 includes some fan favourite characters such as Lee and Clementine, who will no doubt carry through gaming history as some of the best characters ever made. The story begins with Lee as a convict en route to jail when suddenly a zombie apocalypse breaks out and frees him. From that point onward, Lee has to use his surroundings to find a way to survive at any cost. The situation advances as he meets a little girl called Clementine who is in desperate need of help. Together they reach a drugstore where many other characters are introduced. Because of the choice system, every player's own story is unique and allows for an enjoyable playthrough. This also results in an extreme level of replayability, as you can play the same episode but make the opposite choices for a whole different playthrough. This is something that is very special about the game and allows for a lot of content to get your money's worth. Many games at the time would have wished for this level of storytelling. Even with limited facial expressions, characters show deep emotions which may affect your choices. The characters are realistic as they each have their own uses but also their own flaws. You end up genuinely caring for these characters, so you try your best to keep them alive, which is difficult in the middle of a zombie outbreak. Characters have their own rise and falls and seem helpless at times, but if you aim to keep everyone alive, then you will need to be there for them. The story of this game is second to none and is a must to experience. I would say that this game is worth checking out just for the story. Moving on from the story, I want to talk about this game's reception and current standing in player base. As seen from the Steam charts, the average amount of players is very inconsistent, constantly changing up and down, so there's no evidence if the game is dying or becoming more popular. But The Walking Dead has always been a very popular playthrough game and has been talked about throughout the years, especially as the final season released in 2018. In conclusion, you should 100% play this game if you're thinking about it. It holds up amazing for being 10 years old, and I'm sure you'll have an enjoyable experience playing it. Well guys, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed my first commentary video and let me know if you want more. Next video I'm hoping to talk about Resident Evil 4, so stay tuned for that. Goodbye.